There's a great author that probably one of the best business books that I've ever read is a book by a guy named Michael Gerber, and it is about creating, it's called The E-Myth, and it's about creating really a systematic business that achieves higher results. And in that book, there's a lot of talk around creating systems and processes. McDonald's, although their hamburgers aren't that great, I like their fries. Soda doesn't matter because you can buy it anywhere and it tastes almost the same. McDonald's is a very, very healthy company because they have systems and processes, and you're pretty sure that if you get a Big Mac, whether it's in Tokyo, France, or anywhere in the United States, that it's going to be exactly the same. And it's going to be exactly the same because of the systems and processes. Another case for systems and processes is if you want to bring people in and kind of inundate them in your Kool-Aid, this is how our business does the job, then having documented and written systems and processes around the basic functions. Here's how we write up a work order. Here's how we keep our bays clean. It could be a lot of different things. Here's how we estimate. Talk about one of our more important processes. Here's how we inspect a car. So having a great vehicle inspection process will increase our average repair order, it'll increase our opportunities, and actually make the company more money. It'll actually do some other things like help the technicians be more productive because they'll be staying on the same car longer, et cetera, et cetera. But if you don't have a good process to do those things, then you get a substandard result. If you have a good process and that process is followed, then you always get a consistent result, and it's of a higher quality. So how do I write a process? I think the first thing to do, and we'd recommend this to our clients, our group members, is to sit down and think about your business in terms of kind of areas. So around marketing, what are the processes that I need? I need some measurement processes to determine, if I spend money in this marketing place, what is my return on investment? What is my result from that? I need some processes around managing my marketing. So quarterly or monthly, I'm going to look at what we're doing. I'm going to evaluate. I'll pull in the spreadsheets, get the data, and decide where my money is going to be spent and where I'm going to get the best return on investment. If you look at customer interaction, certainly we want to have a good answering the phone process. So how do we answer the phone in our business? And I really want everyone in my company to answer phone exactly the same, except using their own name. So we had a process, and it's probably one of the simplest, but it's answering the phone. Phone rings. So first of all, in the process, at the top of the process, I want to write what is the purpose behind the process. So if it's phone answering, to give the customer the best initial appearance and communication with our company, and create the best image that we can. Okay. Next, what tools do I need? Certainly I'm going to need a phone. We had a mirror in our process because we put mirrors by the phones. Because the third thing that I really need is a smile, because a smile comes through on the phone, and a smile helps make the customer feel good, whether you believe it or not, or whether you know it or not. Smiles are very important, especially in your initial conversation. Once we have the tools that we need, and that's documented on that process, now we have the steps. Step one, put a smile on your face. Step two, pick up the phone. Step three, four things that you're going to do. Salutation, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Next, introduce yourself. This is Cecil. Excuse me. See, now I'm doing it from memory instead of with the process sitting in front of me. Step 3, thank you for calling the business, use the business name. Step 4, introduce yourself. And step 5, ask the question. And the question is, how can I help you? What can I do for you today? Step 5 is really important, that you end with a question. In sales, you want to be the person in charge. The person in charge is the person that asks the question. For instance, it would look like this. Ring, ring. Good morning. Thank you for calling Larry's Auto Works. This is Cecil. How can I help you? So that is the process, having completed the process. Now, if I had that documented, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, and next to the step in a brief description. So we write down 1, phone rings, put a smile on your face. And who's responsible for that or accountable? That's the service advisor, the person answering the phone, whoever is picking up the phone, the CSR rep, the person picking up the phone. So what you'll see in a written process is you will see, here's why we're doing this, here's the title for the process, here's why we're doing this, here's the tools we need, here's step 1, and here's the person responsible, here's step 2, and here's the person responsible, step 3, step 4, step 5, even if there's 25 steps, each of the steps in a 5 to 7 word description with the person responsible, and then underneath that, each of the steps will actually be described in greater detail. So you might have a paragraph of why the smile is important and how to smile, and that smiling is not just with your lips, smiling is with your eyes, and whatever it is, you're describing that in more detail so the person knows it. Now, so we started with kind of think about what's going on with customer interaction. So the first thing that happens is my marketing. The person sees my online material, goes to my website, reads my reviews, and then they call me and I pick up the phone and answer the phones. Most important process of a lot of important processes. While I'm on the phone, I have a purpose, and my purpose on the phone is not to diagnose your car or to tell you what the price is going to be, because I don't really know what's wrong yet, but to get you in and book an appointment. So now I need maybe even a script on the phone or a thought process of when I'm on the phone talking to a new customer, what would I do? Now, by the way, that's not a process, that's more of a script. And how do I think about that person? And then I have a process for booking an appointment. So, what do I need? What are the materials? Why do I have a process for booking an appointment? Well, because frankly, if I don't have a process for booking an appointment and everybody's booking appointments however they want to, we can't keep track of what's going on. We have multiple customers coming in at the same time where they can't be taken care of well, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So if you go through that whole customer interaction, we book an appointment, then we write a work order, then the customer shows up, then we do a walk around where we go out to the car and we take pictures, and then we do dispatch. So we have a process around dispatch. And then the technician gets the vehicle, and there's a process for the initial inspection and the courtesy inspection or the diagnostic. There might be 2 processes, one for the courtesy inspection and one for the diagnostic on the vehicle. This is how you follow that. This is where you look for that material. This is what you do. Then the technician writes up the ticket. Here's what I found on this car, so that the service advisor can understand it and actually write up the ticket for the customer. So we would have a process around how a technician writes up an estimate, and we would have a process around how a service advisor writes up an estimate, and then we would have a process around calling the customer back, selling the work. If we use a digital vehicle inspection, in our process we might have between the service advisor estimating and the call, we might have send the DVI, the digital vehicle inspection. Then we sell the work or we don't sell the work. If we don't sell the work, then there's a process for finishing the ticket up, making sure the car gets out front and all the information gets done correctly on it. And there might even be a process for delivering the car to the customer so that you're going over the recommended services and things that they didn't do. If the customer does the work, then there's a process for writing that up. How do we write that up? In what order? What do we explain? Do we need to have the 5 C's? Are we okay just to put replace engine? What does that look like? Maybe again, some kind of a script or thought process around when I'm writing a work order up, this is what it needs to look like. And kind of ad infinitum. We'd go all the way through the process, delivering the car to the customer, doing the follow-up call to the customer, and we would follow that process, and there's maybe 20 or 25 processes in that interaction with that customer. Why would I spend the time to write those processes down? Well, first of all, if I do, it's going to create a better experience and a more consistent experience. If I do, I can retrain or train new people and retrain old people on the process because it's documented. It keeps us from drifting, which we do. If you bring in a strong employee that's done it differently somewhere else, you might find your process completely suborned, where you're not following it anymore. Neither is anyone else in the company because somebody came in and said, oh, this is how I did it there, and pretty soon that's what we're doing. And by the way, if that's better, then great, let's document that process, and now let's start teaching that process to our people. A good process in your company will make good employees great and great employees better. And believe it or not, they can turn a mediocre employee into a pretty good employee. And then, of course, bad employees are just bad employees. Now, I know that most business owners, they look at this whole idea of having processes for their company, and it just makes their hair turn white. It makes their breath, they have panic attacks thinking about all this work. Here's what I recommend. And I recommend it to my clients. Once you have a list of processes that you feel you need for your company, then think about who should be doing that or writing that process. And in most cases, it's probably not the owner because it's not the person that does the job every single day. I would much rather have a technician and or a service advisor working on a technician estimating process than having an owner writing a technician estimating process. Now, as the owner, I'm going to have some say about it. I'm going to read it and study it, and I'm going to look at it once it's written, maybe make some adjustments to it. But take 2 processes and just get 2 done every month. And if you did that at the end of a year, maybe a year and a half, you would have all of the major processes that you need done within your company. So to recap, systems and processes are a good thing. They create more consistency in business. They make employees better at their job. They give more consistent results, both financially, frankly, and in performance. And there's a lot of them that I need for a business, an automotive business. There's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 to 60. But I don't need to let that scare me because I don't need to write 50 to 60. Also, to tie this together, how is a process written? Well, I need a title, technician estimating. What tools do I need? Well, we have a DVI, we use this software. I always like my guys to have a pad and a pen so they could frankly put the stuff in the right order and make sure that it got in the right order so that the jobs came to the service advisor in the right way. What are the steps in 3 to 7 words? Who's responsible? And then once you have the steps, then go down and write out a better description for each step. And then you have a process. And then my recommendation is take that process and spend a couple of weeks working with it to make sure that you didn't miss anything and to make sure you have what you need and that it's most efficient. And then once you have that, you put a date at the bottom and a version so that later when you pull it out 2 years from now and you decide, hey, we're going to change what we do, we got a different software program or whatever, so we're going to rewrite this and reevaluate it, you use a new date and a new version so that you always have the best version in your process manual. Now, if you'd like help with that, we actually have a process on how to write processes we'd be happy to send to you. You can reach us at i4abe.com and just ask for the process for writing processes, and we'd be happy to give that to you at no charge. And if you want help other than that, we've got great classes that we teach. We have a lot of stuff online for you, and we'd love to see you at some time. Thank you very much for your time today.
We hope you enjoyed this week's tip. For more information on the concepts we discussed, check out our upcoming classes at www.i4abe.com/classes, or listen to the Leading Edge podcast at institutesleadingedge.podbean.com, where we discuss business topics just like this one with a panel of industry experts. You can also contact us whenever it's convenient, and we'll set up a free consultation on how the Institute can help you better your business, your life, and the industry as a whole. We'll see you guys next week.